The top story on ABC News Breakfast: Victoria and New South Wales will today seek further meetings with the federal government on a way forward for the National Disability Insurance Scheme. At yesterday's COAG meeting, both states refused to get on board with the national launch without more federal money.
South Australia, Tasmania and the ACT have agreed to host launch sites. The government says there'll be no more discussions until New South Wales and Victoria are ready to compromise.
Premier of New South Wales, a big, strong state. The Premier of Victoria, a big, strong state, wouldn't do it. What Barry O'Farrell was asked for today was $70 million of new money over 3 years. That's on the whole New South Wales budget. What Premier Baillieu was asked for was around 40. And whilst they say they value being involved in a national disability insurance scheme and having a launch site, they wouldn't put forward those relatively small amounts of money to get it done for their people in their states.
Julia Gillard, the Prime Minister there. Our political correspondent Melissa Clark is with us now from Parliament House. Melissa, we're hearing these sort of mixed messages about whether there will be further talks today to try and nut out an agreement. Will there be?
There certainly seems to be some confusion about it. We had yesterday the New South Wales Premier Barry O'Farrell tweeting that there would be more meetings with the federal minister that's in charge here, Jenny Macklin. However, Jenny Macklin's office said that unless New South Wales and Victoria are prepared to stump up the cash, there's no point in talking, and there won't be a meeting. What we have is the New South Wales Disability Services Minister, Andrew Constance, flying down to Melbourne, where he'll be with the Victorian Community Services Minister Mary Wooldridge, and the two of them are hoping that they'll be meeting with Jenny Macklin in the Melbourne Commonwealth offices to be able to talk this over. But at the moment it seems that meeting won't be taking place because Jenny Macklin is insisting that they agree to contribute more money or there's no point in talking. So it's got to this awfully confusing position where the states are saying, well, they are still interested, they do still want to be engaged, but they do have concerns about funding arrangements. They want the risks underwritten by the Commonwealth, but the Commonwealth is standing firm, saying that unless they're prepared to pay their fair share, there's not going to be much movement going on here.
And Melissa, there's been a lot of criticism of this outcome, or lack of outcome, saying this is a really squandered opportunity because people are just playing politics again.
And particularly because it has come very clearly along partisan lines. We have those states led by Conservative leaders on one side of the coin, and those states and territories in the Commonwealth led by the Labor Party that have turned up on the other side. So we've seen COAG fracture directly down political lines, and it's led to the likes of the Disability Services Commissioner Graham Innes saying that what really needs to happen here is that there needs to be an adult compromise, and that probably reflects what a lot of people are feeling about the frustrating outcome of yesterday's COAG meeting when it comes to it. So we'll be hearing more from Graham Innes a little later on this morning.
Also, what we're hearing a lot from is Tony Abbott on the world stage, strutting his stuff as an international statesman. Bob Carr's not that impressed, though.
He's garnered a lot of attention in this trip that Tony Abbott has gone for, first in the US and then to China. He's coming back to Australia today. And the Foreign Affairs Minister, Bob Carr, has been very critical of some of Tony Abbott's comments to the Chinese business community, where Tony Abbott said in a speech that the coalition doesn't support the nationalisation of Australian companies by the Australian government, let alone foreign companies, foreign companies that are owned or are led by state-owned enterprises, which has raised quite a few eyebrows about what that will mean for foreign investment in Australia. And Bob Carr, as soon as he was back in Australia after his travels, was quicker with the opportunity to point out what he says are the difficulties with Tony Abbott's comments when he spoke on the Late Line program last night.
It just disturbs me that he is striking in three or four of the things he said about China what can only be seen, and which will be seen by them, I think, as an adversarial approach with China. And I think that is reckless. I think it is really dangerously dumb for this country's interest.
So that's Bob Carr speaking on Late Line there, echoing the comments of some of his frontbench counterparts, calling Tony Abbott's comments dumb and reckless, which is pretty strong language, as we see when it comes to this foreign affairs field, which is usually a bit more of a hands-off area when it comes to the battle of federal politics.
Good to talk, Melissa. We'll talk later in the program. Thanks for your time.